It's time for the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU, the official local sports show here in Glasgow and Barron County. And now, alongside John Butler, here is your host, James Brown.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag. We took some time off as everybody headed to Glasgow South. I think that's otherwise known as Destin or Panama City or somewhere down in Florida. That's Glasgow South during fall break, John.
Seems like it.
Yeah, there was nothing going on in this town, basically, other than some soccer. We didn't have any high school football locally for us.
Had Gulf State.
Yeah, we did have Gulf State. That is true. So we had some things that happened last week, but we didn't have a show last Monday. We were, to be honest with you, I was a little busy, had a lot going on trying to get done, and then took a few days off. Just there was no way we were going to fit the show in, and plus,
and I wasn't capable of getting us on the air because I was here.
You were here, but you don't know these buttons over here, I guess.
I do not know.
All right. Well, maybe someday we'll get some other people to come fill in for us, and we'll just have a Brown Sports Bag. It'll be other people on when we want to take a vacation, John. Let's talk about this soccer before at the top of the show, and then we'll talk some high school football as well and some other football, and we'll tell you also about the high school golf that we had last week. Since we've been on, they've played the whole 15th district soccer tournaments.
Yep.
And the first couple of games of the 4th region tournaments. So they've been really busy on the soccer front while everybody else was in Glasgow South. And
they don't space those out much, do they?
No.
The district is either all on the same day or back-to-back days.
Yeah. They what they did is, and this has started since Warren East entered the district.
It's basically let's get it over with before fall break.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah, because used to what would happen is you would have fall break right there before the district tournament was being played. So nobody would play for a week because they wouldn't have any games during fall break. You would show up the next week and everybody looked like they'd taken a week off. You know, it was just brutal. And so they finally decided once Warren East came in this district, let's just play it on that first weekend of fall break.
Don't fight it.
Yeah, just get it over with and let everybody leave, which does result in what I saw yesterday, which looked like a bit of a struggle for a couple of teams.
For the region.
Yeah, at the region.
That's right, because there's a week off between most.
Yeah, the district finals and the region first round week off.
That's right.
But let's start with the girls' side of this thing, because the Glasgow girls completed their goals and turnaround for the season that Coach Scott Zettelmoyer had talked to us about at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, if we give out trophies for greatest turnaround, it has to go to the Glasgow girls.
Yeah.
2 years ago, they didn't win a game and barely fielded a team.
Right. Yeah, I think they had 13 or 14 players.
And they go from 2 years ago to not win a game to last year they won, what, six?
Yeah.
And now with a team comprised of a ton of freshmen. With one really good senior goaltender.
Yeah. Deja.
That's correct. Driver.
Yep.
To a team that's now won 15 games and won the district. I mean, it was a great turnaround for them.
Yeah, it was impressive. And I tell you what, I thought they had hit a little bit of a lull at the end of the regular season. You know, I thought it was starting to show up a little bit, the youth, I thought. And I thought they were struggling a little bit to continue to do what they had done earlier in the season. Of course, they had split with Warren East during the regular season, split with Barron during the regular season, lost the second game in both of those situations in the district. So, you know, they ended up getting the 1 seed and playing Allen County in the first round because of the RPI. And they ended up beating Allen County 2-1. We talked about it on this show. There were no easy outs in that
Allen
district.
had not won a district game, but they've been competitive.
Yeah, I mean, they barely lost most of them
and
by
that game,
goal or two.
I think you were there. It's 2-1, right?
Yes.
And both goals were scored by freshmen who the two kids that scored the goals, I don't think had scored a lot of goals this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they scored some. Aniston Young was one, and what was it,
Noel Grisham.
Yeah, they both were the two goals.
Yeah. And, I mean, the thing about Noelle is she didn't play soccer.
Noelle's a junior, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But she had not been playing soccer. She had been playing volleyball, so she stopped playing volleyball and came out and played soccer this year. And like you said, I mean, she got the first goal there in the game against Allen County. Now, Aniston is probably one of Glasgow's better goal scorers. It's just that people know it, and they shade their defense to her.
Right.
So she got free, and that ended up being 2-1. And then in the other game, of course, Warren East beat Barron, also a 2-1 game. It was a dogfight of a game, and that ended Barron's season. I didn't know how that game was going to go, to be honest with you. I really –
Well, the teams had split.
Yeah, and there was just no clear indication which team would win that game. And the first half of that game, I'll be honest with you, it was brutal soccer. I mean, both teams were just kicking the ball around the field, not really taking quality shots or having quality control of the ball.
Did Barron have a goal that was nullified? Or was it the girls' game or was it the boys' game?
That was the boys' game.
That was the boys' game. Okay.
Yeah. And so then kind of what happened was Warren East got free a couple of times and got the 2-0 lead, and then Barron got a goal back, and they just couldn't get another one. But Barron just struggled to find a way to score in that game. And I guess Warren East really kind of played a pretty good defense against Shelby Bird and Kayla Comans. One of the things for Barron this year is they had a number of injuries to some of their better players who were just unable to play. Haley Mutter and Emma Powell, both got knocked out during the regular season. And so that was two of the players they were counting on to be either play goalie or goal scorers for them. And that kind of showed up as the season went along, I thought. But then you get to the championship game between Glasgow and Warren East, and it's a 1-1 game. And Maria Ramos, it was a corner kick, comes in. I don't even know how she found the space in the defense, and she just let it go. And then that put Glasgow up 2-1. And then she scored another one kind of the same way later in the game.
And she's been their leading scorer all year.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they just played extremely well in that game, I thought.
You ought to go, if people that are listening needs to go to the WCLU website and see the interview that James had with LaDeja Driver and Maria Ramos. It's pretty cool. You can tell it meant a lot to them.
Yeah, and what was interesting about that is, of course, like LaDeja is one of 3 seniors on the team, and Maria is one of those young players on the team. And I just thought, I don't know, it was almost motherly in a way, because Maria got choked up talking about it, and then LaDeja gives her a hug.
Yeah.
But you could tell that despite this age gap, and experience, you can tell by the way the team plays and by that interview how much of a bond they've built together during the course of the season, I thought. But yeah, so then Glasgow ended up winning that district, which was their first district championship, I think, since 2015.
Sounds about right.
And like I said, when Scott came in here and talked to us about it, he said, they have a young team. He thought they had the ability to, be a good team. I would say he would even say, though, and you've probably experienced this as a coach, they grew much more quickly than he expected them to.
Sometimes you don't know with freshmen, because remember in high school soccer and high school football, freshmen cannot play up.
Right. Yeah.
So, when you have that many freshmen, you probably think they're
they look good as middle schoolers, but you don't know what they look like against varsity.
There, and boy, they were really, really good. So congratulations to them. And then it was yesterday afternoon. After a week off, the first round of the region, they did what they had to. They defeated Monroe 1-0.
Yeah,
it's probably not indicative of. I mean, Glasgow's better than Monroe.
Yeah, I think they beat them 8-0 during the regular season.
Right, 8-0 early, but obviously not easy to score against Monroe. Monroe, I think, was kind of packing it in and things like that. But whether you win 1-0 or 10-0 doesn't really matter. The goal in the region is to advance, and they did.
Yeah, it was an ugly game. I don't think
that was Ramos again on the goal.
Yeah, beautiful assist from Hadley Stinson on that too.
Okay,
so just right up the middle, Maria was able to run onto it and took her time and took a quality shot against the goalie. It was just her and the goalie. And I tell you, the thing about that game was, I think Monroe, if I were to say, Monroe probably did not take a shot on goal in that game. Now, they kicked some at the goal, but they really did not take an actual shot.
Hard to score.
Yeah.
if you don't shoot.
That's right. But they were so concentrated, they had the kind of middle of the defense packed in, which is where Maria does a lot of her scoring. So they were trying to force Glasgow to outside to take either crosses or tough shots from the outside. And sometimes in a game like that, when you know you're the better team and you've got more people who can score, it's almost like you just got to take a volume of shots until such time as the team that is not as good makes a mistake. And, you got to put that pressure. And Glasgow kind of was timid about just taking shots until later in the game. And then they started, I think, firing away more because they realized, it was 0-0 with less than 7 minutes to go. And they realized, we really got to take some shots and try to get something to go in. And that finally opened up the defense enough that they could slide that pass in there. And Maria was able to score that goal. But a lot of it, they really struggled, I thought, against what Monroe was doing to them. But it's not like Monroe was doing anything in the attack to threaten them. It's just that Glasgow was struggling to take shots.
I guess Monroe was looking for a breakout, maybe, or winning penalty kicks. I don't know. We never try to score, but I'm sure if you ask Monroe, would they been happy with 0-0 with 10 minutes to go in the game, they'd say yes.
Oh yeah, especially considering how the first game went. Right. So, you're right about what you just said. In a way, if you're the team and you don't really have the attacking ability, that's what you want to do. You want to, they call it park the bus. You want to kind of keep the defense back, limit the other team, just make the other team take bad shots or tough shots, and hopefully you can sneak in a goal, or you get the PKs and you can find a way to win the game. And that's really what they were doing. And if you're the team that's the better team and you're an attacking team, you got to work ways to open up that defense, and that was where Glasgow was struggling.
So Glasgow now moves to tomorrow. They play Bowling Green, right?
Yeah, 5:30 at South Warren High School,
and that will be would be a monumental upset to not only beat Bowling Green. It'd be nice just to be competitive. I'm guessing that's probably secretly the goal, right? Just would like to be competitive and so forth. But Bowling Green is a huge, I think it's fair to say, step up in class. You're talking about a state title contender.
Yeah, and they are one of the top 5 teams I think in the state this year on the girls' side, or top 10 somewhere in that neighborhood
10, for sure.
Yeah, them and Greenwood both.
Right. It's year in year at the same store.
Yeah,
so just a different level.
And I think the thing. Maybe if you're Glasgow in this situation, going back to what we were talking about, they only have 3 seniors. They have such a young team. You would like to be able to come into this game and maybe learn from Bowling Green how to do certain things. You may end up losing the game, but what do you learn from it? You learn from it how they space themselves, the types of shots they'll take, how they attack you, that kind of stuff.
And I'm not looking at the scoreboard for the past 10 years or 15 years outside. I don't think really if you just get to the semifinals, that's about nobody has gotten to the finals.
No,
except for Greenwood and Bowling Green.
Yeah,
10 straight years, probably longer than that, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think certainly since they went to this format that they have now. Now, used to this was a District 8, and I think Greenwood was in the district with Glasgow and Barron and those guys. But since they went to this format that's more like the basketball format, no one's been in the finals other than Bowling Green and Greenwood.
That's right.
And I think even if you go back, I don't think anybody's won from this neck of the woods other than Bowling Green and Greenwood.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. It's a tough hill to climb.
Yeah, it's a tough hill.
And then on the boys' side, the Glasgow Scotties ended up winning the district.
They kind of righted the ship in the middle of the year, didn't they?
Man, I tell you what, they beat Allen County as expected pretty handily in that first game. I was surprised at the way they played against Warren East in the championship game.
Well, since 3 weeks ago, you called out that you thought Warren East would beat Glasgow in a regular season game.
I really did.
And Glasgow now is beating them 2 straight, right?
Yeah, I really did. They figured out. We talk about this every year with Coach Mahoney.
And Warren East had beaten Barron in the first round.
Yeah. They beat them, I think, 4-2 in that first round game. They beat Barron. That was the one with the disallowed goal in that first round game, which would have given Barron an early 1-0 lead, and that probably would have changed the complexion of the game.
Momentum-wise, for sure.
Yeah, and so that was a tough break for the Trojans there. But yeah, I really thought Warren East was the team to beat headed into the district tournament because of the way the talent, and I thought, now they hadn't played a bunch of games. I think they played 10 total during the regular season. So maybe there wasn't a good judge of how good they were. The talent looked good.
Yeah.
But, Glasgow was not playing particularly well a couple of weeks before the district tournament started. They were struggling, but I think it's what we talk about every year with Coach Mahung. It seems to be this way every year. There's a point in the season where you go, I don't know, man, this might be the year they're not really going to put it together. They get to the district tournament or they get to the last couple of weeks of the season and they just start playing. I don't know what his magic is. I guess he spends the whole year working on his formations, working on trying to get the players to play the way he wants them to. But I tell you what, the way they played in that Warren East game was absolutely impressive, to be honest with you.
Yeah, big win at East too.
Yeah, at East. They both teams, it was a beautiful game. And then Glasgow, the first goal came on, Jared Malagon is like the central figure for Glasgow offensively, and everybody knows it.
He's the Pele.
Yes, he is.
That's old school right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he is. And the first goal of the game, he kind of got the ball over on the left-hand side, and Warren East shaded two guys to him. And he made a beautiful pass kind of behind them across the other side of the field to Ronaldo Polden, who just punched it in. And that was a work of art. And then the next goal in the game was just a heads-up soccer player kind of play. Sometimes they say people know how to play a game. The goalie had a goal kick, and he kicked it out, but he kicked it out kind of short. And Polden saw that it was kind of short, and the Warren East player was not coming back to the ball. He just ran.
Interception.
Yeah, basically just picked it off and just punched it in. I mean, from a long way out, too. And that was like a pretty impressive. And I think my son talked to them after the game and asked him about that, and he was just like, Coach says, if you see the ball, go get the ball. made it sound real simple, didn't he? So yeah, that was a good win for them there.
They're in the region, and they play tonight.
Tonight at 7:30 against Todd County Central. Yep.
Yeah, and you said Todd Central, it should be competitive.
Yeah, it's a good game. There's after the four teams in the 14th district, so Bowling Green, Greenwood, South Warren, and Warren Central.
Those are the top four teams in the region.
Yeah, those are the top four. You kind of have this next level, and there you usually find Glasgow, Franklin Simpson, Barron County, Todd County Central. You've had occasions where Logan County or Russellville has been in that group. Maybe Russell County has been in that group. But those other three, Todd, Franklin Simpson, Glasgow, have been the most consistent next level up. And they play a lot of times in those first round region games, and there'll be some dogfights in those games. So
wish them good luck.
Yeah, so that'll be tonight. And if they win tonight, then they'll play tomorrow night. And this is at Bowling Green Junior High School at what they call the Pit.
The Pit, yeah.
And so, and like we said, Barron County, man, they kind of, for the Trojans, that was kind of a rough first-round game. Because if they'd have gotten that early goal, I think the pressure on Warren East, which is what Glasgow was able to do to Warren East in that championship game, put that pressure on them, and they couldn't quite respond. And Barron may have been able to do that as well. Certainly, they had the talent to do it.
Getting the lead in soccer seems more important than about any other sport because you can change completely your style.
Yeah.
And make it very difficult for teams to score against you.
That's right. And I would say that was kind of what Glasgow was doing to Warren East when they played them in that championship game. They got that first goal, and then I think Warren East got a little tight, and they started trying some things, and that just opened up opportunities for Glasgow to put more. The final score of the game was 4-1, by the way. I don't know that we mentioned that. Anything else from the soccer part?
No, I mean, wish both Glasgow teams all the luck in the world.
Yep. Meanwhile, while we were also off, there was the state golf tournaments and final rounds, as they call them, I guess. And we didn't have anybody playing in the boys tournament, but we did have two Barron County girls playing in the girls tournament, Chloe Witcher and Lucy Zala. That was the first time Lucy's made it. She's a senior, so good for her to go out like that. Good for her, yeah. And then Chloe, I think she's been to the final round the last 2 years.
Right. And shot really well the first game and first day in tough conditions because it rained and they delayed it. She shot 76 the first round. She was in the top 10, top 15, and then shot 82 the second. And I know that's not her best, but if you look at her scorecard, she really struggled early. What impressed me is, I think I'm remembering this right, she parred out her last 7 holes.
Yeah.
So she kind of got it I mean, that 82 could have easily been 92. But kind of got it together. And she finished 25th, and Lucy shot 83 the first round, which is, pretty darn good in that condition, and came back with a 90, and she finished 61st overall.
Yeah.
But anyway, good years obviously for both of them.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting things about the way that state tournament is set up now is on day 2 you're battling fatigue.
It's mental fatigue, too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And one thing that I thought was interesting this past week, on the Tuesday, like you mentioned, they didn't start the round till noon, and they did a shotgun start because of the weather situation, which is not what they usually do. But it wasn't windy. It was just wet.
Mm-hmm.
Day 2 was windy, and I kind of wondered if that you finish late on day 1, you start I think they started 8:39 on day 2 on the Wednesday when it was windy, and I thought basically maybe that was part of it, the fatigue, and then the conditions were just so different in those 2 days. So maybe that's why you saw a little bit of the struggles. One thing, Trinity Beth ended up winning the state tournament. No, the girl from Sacred Heart won it.
That's correct.
And then I think Kinsey Willen finished from Cumberland 5th. I think that's right. Had a couple of pretty good rounds. Now, she's a junior. She and Chloe are a junior. And maybe the girl from Sacred Heart who did win it is also a junior. But a lot of that field that was at the top of the leaderboard, there were a lot of seniors in that group. So like the Trinity Beth, Madison Glisson from Ballard Memorial, I think they were both seniors. There were a couple of others up there. One of the Lankfords from Cal, I think, was also a senior. So it'll be a pretty big turnover from this group this year to next year. All right. That's all I can think of, John.
All right. We'll come back. Let's take a break.
Yeah. Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Presented by McDonald's of Glasgow, it's back to the studio with James and John, the Brown Sports Bag.
Welcome back to the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. James Brown and John Butler here. John, we had no high school football this past Friday because everybody was at Glasgow South. But we did have some games before the fall break that we didn't talk about on the show because we didn't have the show last Monday. And one of those games, of course, was Barron County's game against Greenwood, which was Barron ended up losing the game 21-17. I think Greenwood is a good team. Now, they don't throw the ball very well, but they run the ball well, and their defense is good. And Barron had a solid chance to win that game. I thought Barron overall played well in that game. But, sometimes the breaks just don't go your way, and that's kind of, I think, how that one worked out.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I wish I could remember more about it, and I was trying to refresh my memory about that game, but the stats aren't online, so Barron was up 17-7.
Yeah.
After scoring a touchdown in the third.
Yeah.
With about 4 minutes left in the third.
Yeah.
And the whole game turned off that kickoff because Greenwood returned the kickoff for a touchdown, 17-14.
Yeah.
And it's the first kickoff return or punt return that Barron has given up this year, and that was, it seemed like to me, just a complete, you talk about a momentum change because Barron had just scored to go up 17-7. And you're right, I think Greenwood is they've got a lot of talent on that team. They've got size, they got speed. I do think their weakness is probably the passing game a little bit, but still they're very, very good. And Barron was in shape to get their best win of the year.
Yeah.
Because, Greenwood's got a quality team, and that turned the momentum to 17-14. And then, I think both teams maybe exchanged punts, and then Greenwood scored with about 3 minutes to go in the game to take the lead 21-17, and Barron never scored after that.
Yeah.
But I thought Barron played really well, and just a tough loss, to be honest with you, because overall I thought they probably outplayed Greenwood.
I tell you, there were a couple of things that I thought were encouraging to me. One is Greenwood came into the game and they said Dalen Thomas is not going to beat us. And they did a good job of corralling Dalen Thomas. But what came out of that,
Corbin Wells had a big game.
Yeah, he had that big touchdown run. That was before the kick return.
Now my memory's come back. He had over 100 yards.
Yeah.
And also, I think, led the team in tackles, too.
Yeah.
And what was now I'm starting to remember, he had a huge, huge game. Because, you're right. They really did everything they could to take Dalen Thomas out of the game, but it opened up for Corbin.
Yeah.
And Corbin had a big run for a touchdown. That's what made the game 17-7.
Yep.
And he played really well.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was 17-14 with about 3.5 minutes to go after a punt, I think Greenwood scored on the next play. It was like a 30, 35-yard run.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a couple plays later. But anyway, one of Barron's the other linebacker for Barron, not Corbin, but
is it Steele Whitaker? That guy?
No,
they had to go out because they had blood on their jersey or something.
That's correct. Went out because they had blood on his jersey, and now I've gone blank about who the other linebacker is. Senior and didn't play last year because he's hurt. Now I've gone blank.
Oh, Braxton Carnes.
Carnes, that's right.
Yeah.
Who had played fabulous. He and Corbin are the leading tacklers. And the instant he went out of the game, they had to get taped. The officials sent him out because of blood. Greenwood ran that little cross play.
I think it was Chaney Davis there.
Busted right up the middle.
Yeah.
Where you would think Carnes would have been, to be honest with you.
Seemed to have been all night.
He'd been all night and scored a touchdown. It's just a bad break. I mean, that's a bad break right there, and tough loss right there because that would have probably guaranteed a home playoff game.
Yeah.
Because they'd given Barron 2 wins in the district, but it nevertheless they played good enough to win.
Yeah.
Just didn't.
Yeah, I did think going back to the Greenwood basically focusing on Dalen Thomas. It opened up Corbin Wells for some big runs in the game, the big touchdown run. He had another big run. I think that set up the field goal for them earlier in the game.
Yeah, 37-yard field goal, I believe.
Yeah, and so that Jacob Dooley hit. But I think it was a Corbin Wells run that got him down there and ended up taking that field goal. And then I thought it opened up Barron's ability to throw the ball, too, in some plays where they had not really been connecting, I think, during the other games during the season. You're right. That would have been a big win in terms of the district and probably seeding for the playoffs.
And you could tell it was a big win for Greenwood.
Oh, yeah.
Because
they celebrated like they won the Super Bowl.
They were doing I'm not making it up. They were doing some of their players were doing cartwheels. They were taking pictures after the game. I mean, so obviously that was what guarantees them a home game.
Yeah, because they've already beaten Warren Central.
And I don't know. It's probably been a long time since. I mean, they've been in the districts of South Warren and Bowling Green.
Yeah,
so
they've been the 3 seed a lot.
So they've been the 3 seed a lot. So it was a big win for them. I just remember after the game, I was a little surprised. I'm not angry or anything like that, but I was just a little surprised at their celebration. They weren't taunting anybody either.
No.
Don't get me wrong. It wasn't that, but they were
genuinely happy they won that game.
Genuinely happy. That's exactly right.
So, yeah, I thought that was fascinating. At the end of the game, I was like, well, this is different. I didn't expect them to be this excited to beat Barron, but whatever.
And the Scotties continue to roll on. Barron is 3-4, by the way, 1-2 in the district, and they play a team out of Tennessee.
Yeah, Macon County. Yeah,
who I know nothing about.
Yeah, I know where the town is, Lafayette, but or Lafayette or whatever they say down in Tennessee. But that's all I know about them.
Right.
But hopefully some of the nicks and bruises they had coming into the Greenwood game, they've had a chance to get those healed up. We'll have our interview with Coach Myers in the pregame. That'll be Friday night. We film it on Wednesday, so we'll be able to. You'll know more about that whenever you get to that pregame interview. But yeah, so that'll be a game, and luckily it's not another district game. They kind of have a game that would be good to win for the record, but doesn't mean anything for the playoffs.
No, it gets you 4-4, and with Warren Central and Allen County coming up, 2 games that Warren Central played pretty well this year.
Yeah.
Allen so far has not won a game, but if you put you on track to have a winning season for sure.
That's right. But yeah, you're right. The Glasgow Scotties kept rolling right along. They they won at Butler County 64-12.
Not close.
Not close.
Yeah, they're 7-0, 3-0 in the district, and that was the running clock, I believe, in the first half.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know really what to say other than Glasgow's really good. But
seemingly much better than everybody else in their district.
Overwhelmingly, yes. And we kind of called that after a while. After you saw the first 3 or 4 games and then got to see Glasgow and you got to see kind of the results of the other teams in the district, this was kind of what we thought. Hudson Gum, Talking about efficient, how about 4 of 5 for 160 yards and 3 touchdowns? And then Trace England comes in to relieve him. He's 2 of 3 for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's that looks like 6 out of 8 for 261 yards.
Yeah.
5 touchdowns.
Not a bad night of work.
Right.
And, Jarek Martin had a big game. Jalen Bradley had another big game.
Same crew.
Brown Jones, they actually got him the ball early a few times, and then he had the big, I think, 91-yard touchdown reception from England there in the fourth quarter.
So Glasgow is, here's the catch now. This is where it's tricky, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Barron was 7-0 this time last year, too.
Uh-huh.
The catch is when you're rolling this way and you're winning now by running clocks.
Yeah.
Is how do you keep improving?
Yeah. Because
it's hard to see that in the games because you're overwhelming the competition.
Mm.
Now I think LaRue will be a little bit better. LaRue didn't win a game last year.
Right.
They got a new coach and they've been better, more competitive this year.
Yeah, they look more historically like the LaRue people might expect. They're not there yet.
No, they're not.
But they're headed
yet.
back in that direction.
So that's coming up Friday, and probably the best thing for Glasgow would be a competitive game. Eventually, you're going to have to play, and it's probably been since Barron and Monroe, where they've had to really battle for 4 quarters.
Yeah,
and they probably need one of those. And I don't know if they're going to get it against them or Edmonton next. But that's listen. You got to look for something when you're 7-0,
right?
But that would be the one thing for me, coaching wise, that I would be a little bit worried about, and so forth. But anyway, man, they've got a good football team.
Right now.
And the defense has been tremendous.
Yeah, that's right.
12 points is mostly good enough all year.
Yeah, and the last touchdown came with no time left on the clock. Right. So I'm sure that's one they might have circled, because now they were up 21-0 and they gave up a scoring drive to Butler County. And Butler County showed some things that some other people might look at on film and think they can do the same things, and we'll be curious to see if that works out. But I was a little concerned when I saw Butler County executing that short passing game, and I was like, ooh, this might be something on film that people will look at and say, oh, well, we may be able to do that. Now, I suspect by the time they play somebody else, whatever the issues were where they were giving up those plays, because later in the game it didn't work because Grayson Bartley had an interception return for a touchdown and then another interception. I think they had a third interception off that short passing game. So it worked for a drive with the regular unit out there, right? So the second touchdown came with no time on the clock. But, yeah, that ruined the fact that they hadn't given up more than 10 points, 8 points in a game so far this year, nonetheless. But, yeah, I'm curious to see if this LaRue County game, this might be their toughest test in the district, because I don't know what to think about the Hart County game just because of the circumstance around the Hart County game. I think Hart County's probably better than LaRue.
I think Hart's the second best team in the district.
Yeah, I think they probably are better than LaRue, but LaRue might be punchy enough. And LaRue's one of those programs that's got a good football tradition. They may not be as good as they've been in the past, but they do have that kind of legacy of, hey, we're good. We can play football.
That's right.
So if this new coach has got that going, then they might have they might be a fighter. Meanwhile, the Caverna Colonels traveled all the way over by the Mississippi River on the Friday night before fall break and lost to Fulton County 42-40. And that's a disappointing loss because that's a district game, and they have a district game at Russellville this coming Friday. And the last 3 years, the winner of the Caverna-Russellville game has been the District 1 seed, and now they're in jeopardy of not being able to get a home playoff game. So they've got to fix some things. I don't know. Well, let me put it this way. Somebody other than the Martin twins has to figure out a way to do something, because they did everything in that Fulton County game.
Yeah, Fulton County is a team Caverna's handled recently.
Yeah.
If you look at Fulton County's schedule, they've scored points, but they've played, I think, all but one team from Tennessee.
Yeah.
So there's no way I can judge how good they are and are not. But all you got to do is go to the stats and look at the Martin twins. One Martin, Tyson had 240-something yards on the ground and like 3 touchdowns. His brother,
Kenyon,
had 160 yards. So it's like 400
Yeah.
and a couple of touchdowns. And they had, I think, 27 tackles among those two.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, oh, my gosh. I don't know. I don't know how two people can affect a football team any more than those two.
No.
But
I will say,
obviously, you know, they've needed more help this year.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say.
Caleb Burris, I think, had 3 catches for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. So offensively, they got some help. It was the defensive side where they didn't get any help, really,
right,
when you get right down to it. And so that's how Fulton County ends up winning the game, because Fulton County has a guy who can throw the ball and a wide receiver who can run, and those two dudes are apparently pretty decent. They're not better than the Martin twins, but they were decent enough, and with a little help, to help their team get a win, which is maybe their first district win in like 6 years or something like that, because they've not been very good recently.
No.
So anyway, that's kind of how the football worked out. And like I said, Caverna plays at Russellville on Friday night. Russellville's 2-5, I think, is what their record is. But their first 5 games were against some really good competition.
Yeah, their schedule's been better than anybody else in that district.
Yeah. So, you know, Caverna's got to go over there. They got to win that game to have a hope to host a first-round playoff game for a 3rd consecutive year, which I don't think they've ever done in football. Anyway, anything else on the high school football, John?
No, I'll be glad to get back, to be honest with you, after this part of the state took the week off. The Lexington and Louisville did not. Their week was prior to that, so it looks like the whole state will be back playing this Friday night.
Yeah, that'll be good. All right, this is Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll be right back.
Presented by McDonald's of Glasgow, it's back to the studio with James and John, the Brown Sports Bag.
John, it is pink slip season for college and NFL football coaches. I mean, I just find, I don't know. So we'll start with the Titans. They fired Brian Callahan. I guess that's not surprising.
Second year.
Yeah, he's in his 2nd year.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I bet they wish they could go back and unfire Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, that was a bad move.
Yeah, it was.
Vrabel was one of the better coaches in the league.
Yeah, he's got the Patriots at 4-2 now in their first year, and he's basically got the same team he had last year. That was
the Titans literally look like a team. Not only do they don't look like they're very well organized on the field, but off the field as well. This is going on way too many times.
Yeah.
They have not played well this year, and their one win against Arizona was a gift.
Yeah, I was going to say the Cardinals are a team that
another team. It's not a really good functioning team.
No, they're not.
But yeah, I mean, Cam Ward, the quarterback. So whatever they do, they're going to have to match up whoever they hire to their quarterback.
Yeah,
number 1 pick Cam Ward, who's not played well. Now, in fairness, I can't tell if it's. You know, you could say that Drake May at New England last year was not the greatest looking quarterback with that system, and now all of a sudden he looks like a top 10 quarterback since Vrabel's been there.
Yeah. If they were if they redrafted the class from last year, Drake May's has moved up the board.
Yeah, probably behind Jordan Daniels.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get a good read out of Cam Ward, but it's. You know, Callahan's had issues last year with Will Levis too, and things like that. So we'll see. Though I don't have a whole lot of faith in the ownership right now or the management of Tennessee to make a good choice.
Yeah, no, their recent choices have been pretty bad, and they've fired everybody who seems to be making the choices, and yet the choices don't change.
Right.
And meanwhile, we have
and they got a $1 billion new stadium being built.
Right.
So they're going to have to sell tickets to pay for that.
Yeah.
Or unless Tennessee or Nashville could be paying for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Isn't that the way that works? Yeah. And then, of course, James Franklin got axed at Penn State after they lost their 3rd consecutive game. And this is a program coming into the season that a lot of people thought would be a title contender.
They were so angry with him. And he's done, 10 years, his record is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
At Penn State.
Yeah.
Just have not won enough, according to Penn State, big games. You know, his record against top 25 teams is a losing record.
Yeah.
But he's had them battling for Big Ten titles and no scandals and was in the playoffs a couple times too, but and I think they were preseason. I think Texas was number 1, but Penn State was like 2 or 3 in the country.
Yeah.
And they lost at home to Oregon. That was not a disgrace. I think it was overtime.
Yeah, it was an overtime. And it was a game that I think there was a wild play at the end of it that went in Oregon's favor.
And then went to UCLA, who had not won a game.
That's the one that stings.
And then got beat.
Yeah.
And then came home to Northwestern, who's not real good, and then got beat.
Yeah.
And they ended up firing him. There was a lot of clamor, a lot of the national news, sports media about his record and all that stuff against good teams and top 25 teams. And that, I'm sure, played a role in it. Just, once you get that wave of negativity, colleges are by far the worst.
Yeah.
They are by far the worst in terms of they cave to a lot of publicity.
They can't let that extra money
$47 million they'll have to pay him.
Now, that part is crazy.
Yeah,
but
well,
obviously somebody out there is giving him the money.
The whole system is crazy.
Yeah.
I think they have no, it's Stoops that they have 30 days to pay him if they ever did that with him. But $47 million, that's just why I have zero compassion for college sports and all these programs, paying athletes this, that, and then they just write you a check for $47 million and go away.
John, I dream for the day where I work someplace where they would fire me and then pay me $47 million.
I don't feel sorry for James Franklin.
No,
I wish somebody would fire me for that. That's right.
For real. Thank you.
But it's just the whole. How do you you'd be laughed at to run a business that way.
Oh, for real. And then this guy, you may not even know his name, the Oregon State head coach. He got fired too. His team's 0-7.
Yeah.
Did you know the Pac-12 still exists? They have 2 teams.
They won't be next year. I mean, they'll exist next year, but they'll have expanded teams next year.
Yeah, they'll have a bunch more of them. But
right.
But I had to wonder. So his team is 0-7. His name's Trent Bray. He got fired also on Sunday. But what I thought to myself is, it's got to be impossible to recruit when you're in a conference that is not a conference.
That's correct.
And nobody's going to come play for you. It's not like Oregon State is Notre Dame. They could exist out there on their own and draw in athletes and that kind of stuff. I'm like, so they're 0-7. Now, look, they've lost. They got beat by North Texas, I think, like 56-10 or something like that. They've lost to some teams that it's questionable.
Yep. No, I can't defend them in terms of the record. I agree. And since we've been gone, Arkansas fired their coach.
That's right.
And Bobby Petrino back in charge.
Oh, Lord. Gosh, dog. I can't wait to see. They
almost beat Tennessee last week.
Yeah.
It was close. So, all this stuff has happened with coaches, or whatever. But, again, these programs, they're just so, in my opinion, I guess what they're trying to do is get out ahead where they can. They think they can get the first, coach and all that other stuff. But I don't know. It's just, if you want to make that decision, but pay somebody $47 million. To me, the person should be fired is whoever signed somebody that has a buyout like that. That's who should be fired.
Yeah, the person who put that contract in writing to start with.
But the best story in college football is, these are stories about coaches getting fired. It's Indiana.
Yes.
And what Indiana and Vanderbilt has done is put enormous amount of pressure on places like Kentucky. Where, you can't go around at Kentucky going, well, we'll never be any good because we're never any good.
Yeah.
When Vanderbilt's in the top 20 and Indiana, has one of the historically worst football programs in history, is now number 3 in the country. And they go out and they beat Oregon at Oregon this past Saturday handily.
Yeah. The final was 30-20, but it wasn't that close.
And it all changed with this new coach that came in a couple years ago. And he's brought a offensive system, and a brashness. Do I think he'll be there next year? I don't. I think he'll probably be at Penn State.
Yeah.
But, Indiana, number 3 in the country midway through the season I've never dreamed that. But it just shows you how things can change so fast, and you can win anywhere. If you can win at Indiana and Vanderbilt, you can win it anywhere.
Here's the thing. I wonder if this has ever happened in history. In the top 25, in the top 5 of the top 25 is Ohio State, Miami, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. Can you imagine that Indiana and Ole Miss have ever been in the top 5 at the same time? As a matter of fact, the answer is no, because I'm pretty sure Indiana, they got in the top 5 last year, right? Before it was all said and done.
I don't know if they made it that high or not. Maybe they did. But
I don't remember if they got to 5 or 6.
Has always they've had good football programs. So.
No. They've had good football windows. They've not had a good football program. They've had some times where they had some players who were really good and put them on the national stage.
Since Lane Kiffin has been there, they've been consistently a top 10 program.
Yeah. Now I'm just saying, but never before.
I don't put Ole Miss and Indiana in the same category.
They are not. Ole Miss has had at least some moments. So Indiana has been as good as their basketball program was. That's how bad their football program was. And
correct.
Kind of the same. I mean, Vanderbilt's in that same window.
And now they're selling out and everything.
Yeah. So, that's a lot different. But I just can't imagine, unless it happened close to the end of last season, which it wouldn't have for Ole Miss because they lost those last couple of games. I can't imagine there's been a time when we've had those two teams in the top 5 together in the AP poll. Real quick, and then we'll take an ad break.
You can put Indiana with any team. You can say, I can't remember the last time Indiana Ohio State had been in the top 5 because they're never there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can. You're right. You can marry them up. I mean, this is pretty good, though, that you have Indiana, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss at 3, 4, 5. That's pretty crazy. Considering some of the programs not in the top 5
That's
at the
right.
moment.
Texas Tech is in the top 10, too.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's a wild world out there in college football at the moment.
Who's got the money can spend it.
Yeah.
But spend it wisely, right? That's the key.
Yes, that is the key. Meanwhile, WKU is playing 5-1. They actually play tomorrow night against FIU.
That great Tuesday night game.
Yeah, it is going to be a barn burner. Louisville, what are they? Also 5-1.
4-1.
4-1. They play at Miami on Friday. That's going to be a heck of a game, I think.
Yes, it will.
And then Kentucky hosts Texas on Saturday. Kentucky is 1-4. 2-3, maybe 2-4.
They are. They've won 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they've had 2 byes too.
Yeah.
They're coming off the South Carolina loss, and Texas coming off a huge win against Oklahoma.
Well, Kentucky coming off the loss at Georgia that was 35-14 and was not that close.
That's correct.
I mean, they just never really had a chance.
But it's not like Texas is explosive, and of course they bring in Arch Manning, so there is some intrigue there.
He might throw you some passes.
He played well against Oklahoma.
He did.
But I mean, can Kentucky beat Texas? Probably not. Can they be close to Texas? I think they're good enough defensively to keep it close.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to get out of here on this last ad break, and then we will not be back. This is the Brown Sports Bag presented by McDonald's of Glasgow. We'll see you guys next week.
You've been listening to the Brown Sports Bag on WCLU. Be sure to join James and John again next Monday at 4 for another edition of the Brown Sports Bag.